service in the army?
I never met him before.
Oh, you never met him?
No, I didn't know the man. I didn't know of him. Only thing I know was I received, I don't know if it was sent from here or from Paris, you know, a sort of pamphlet of his pictures, you know, Vitold K. I threw it in. I didn't like him too much, so I didn't even get interested. I never heard of the man until...
Have you seen any of his paintings?
Yes.
Does he have any talent at all?
I think he does. I think he does. Yeah, he does have talent. He does have talent. It's nothing to faint, you know. Not, you know, nothing to jump, nothing to... And it's not bad. He's got talent. He's not a fake, you know. But he's definitely I learned more things now, you know, when I was in Europe through friends. I mean, he's a very heavy drunkard.
Vito?
Yes, at least he used to be. I mean, a real boozer, you know. By the way, when I asked him to make this painting of the guy, of this, the one that came first, right? He first got drunk. He says, "Let me get drunk, and then I do it." But he's very heavy drunkard. He's a liar. Apparently, he was you know, troublemaker. I mean, it was the kind of guy who fights, etc.
Yeah, someone told me he was pretty strong and fairly...
Yeah, but I didn't know that. But you see, when I was in London, now a friend from Paris came. A dear friend of mine. She's a lady of about 45 or so. And she knew him when he during his Parisian period, a little bit. Disliked him very much. And she knew Wojtek quite well during that time. And the third character that sort of hung together was Marek Lasko, a very talented Polish writer, but also a drunkard and sort of fighter. And he just died recently in Germany, very strangely, you know, apparently overdose of sleeping pills. He went to Germany from Hollywood to make, because the German television was doing a play from his book. The first day he arrived, he had a dinner with the producer, went to the hotel and died. They broke into the room next noon or something like that. It was a very strange thing. My composer and a dear friend who made all music for my films. I brought him here to make film for music for Rosemary's Baby. His name was Comeda. He got drunk with this man, this writer, Marek Lasko. No, with Marek Lasko. People was unknown to us. Wasn't even here. And fell on the street. Came to the studio black, and they were drunk, you know. And I said, "Jesus, what happened?" He said, "Oh, my head." He went to a doctor, and then like 3 months later, he made another music for Paramount, for another picture. 2 months later, he started feeling very bad, and we were going to go skiing to Europe. I was living with Sharon, with him, and he said, "I have this flu." It was the epidemic, remember?
It was last year, but
that's right.
Yeah.
Just before
it was very bad then.
Right. I sent him a doctor. I say, "I'm leaving. The day you come over to join us." And a few days later, I had a telephone that he's blood in his brain. How do you call it?
Blood clot.
Blood clot. We put him on the operation table. He never regained consciousness. 3 months later, he died. So was this Marek Lasko was the first. For me, and that was the beginning of this year, you know, it was the first really tremendous shock to me, because he was, I mean, I made all films, a lot of my success is his contribution, etc. Okay. Coming back to this guy, Lasko, who died so mysteriously. I talked about all these things with this friend of mine, this lady, who knew them, and she told me one very funny thing. She said once, Marek came to him. Marek was really, he was, whenever he was driving, was a trouble, always beating me. And he said that he had fight with Kachanowski, with K, with Witold K. And that he, you know, he beat him up. And she repeated it to Wojtek. And Wojtek the is full of shit. I mean, Kachanowski would strike him once and he would be flat on the ground. You know, I just didn't know. And considering he's rather slim and doesn't look dangerous, you know. The Marek Lasko was a real, you know, troublemaker. And made me think entirely different in different things of the guy, terms of the guy. I didn't call him yet. I'm going to call him and talk to him a lot, etc. And I see really what is behind. It's very strange, you know, his behavior. You know, I'm quite used to certain patterns of human behavior because that's what I'm dealing with in my profession. Now, I was in such shock that I couldn't evaluate things properly, but now I can. And there's something weird about him, definitely.
Well, was it common practice for, since you're successful in your field and probably have more money than most of these people who come in as, we can't call them refugees, but at least immigrants or, well, let's say the Polish that would come down from Canada on visa. Is it common practice for them to seek you out, assistance or something?
A lot of people are trying, but I was avoiding. You know, now I read and I heard that I was sort of a Polish center, which is not true. Because I was resenting them for a couple of reasons. First, that they have tremendous chip on their shoulders, which brings me down. Second, that it associated with me for years in Poland, which were not so good for me. But Wojtek was an old friend of mine. I resented very often his sort of, how can I express it? He was a total loser, you know. Whatever he started, he would fuck it up, you know. And he would keep trying to make some trouble. He would, you know. But when he was in Paris, when he defected, he was always writing me letters, you know. He really loved me, you know, because I got him onto this film school, you know, and things like that. He was sort of I was the model of him for, you know, what he would like to achieve. When I was in Paris, I gave him some money. But I was trying to stay away from him and his Marek Lasko, you know, because I didn't like this type of. Then in New York, when I saw him change very much. He didn't drink, he really felt he was going to do something. He was full of good spirit. I passed him some money, etc. And he met Gibby Folger, and you know, I thought that's good for him. You know, rich girl, that's exactly what he needs. And when he came here, I was trying to help him with job, to find a job. And recently, since I was preparing this film, I told him, because I saw that he was getting a little bit uptight, doing nothing. He was next to this girl, you know, like a pimp. I said, believe me, you have a job on my film. And I have a few letters that I just found now in London, you know, from him. You know, full of enthusiasm and saying, you know, he's reading all books about dolphins because that was the subject. And his ideas, and he can't wait. And he really loved me, that guy, you know.
You don't think he resented your success in any way?
No, that's absolutely an insinuation of, you know, ill-willing people. Canada, I know nobody from Canada except Eva, who came from Canada. I met her in Paris. I met her in Poland when she was a little girl, I mean 14 years old, going around, we used to call her Lolita, you know. She came over here from Canada, and she had terrible trouble, you know, staying in money, etc. And she didn't know where to stay, so I told Sharon, here's this girl, you know. She was such a lovely person. She would resent, you know, another girl staying in that house. We gave her a back room. She stayed maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe longer. And I said, yeah, I will do something. I moved. And she moved, and then she was staying with Wojtek. Once, shortly before I left, I remember that she called me, she came crying, she said that she can't stand anymore. Then he put her down and he said, "You good for nothing, you'll never do anything, you're full of shit, and what are you doing, you better do something." I said, she came to see me in my office. I said, "Listen, Eva, you know, don't worry, etc." I sent her to my lawyer. I said, "Maybe he will help you with your," because I don't remember if it had a stay permit or work permit was expiring.